Throughout the world, motherhood is cherished. In fact, mothers are regarded as symbols of love and a bond that connects various generations. These are the ties that define planet Earth. However, the road to motherhood is laced with dangers. Millions of women risk their lives in their quest to be vessels of nature's quest for preservation and progression. In fact, some have died during childbirth, while others are left with depressing temporary and chronic disorders. Dr. Weston Kisa has been offering help to victims of obstetric fistula in Kenya for over 3 years now. Most of the beneficiaries are poor women from rural parts of the East African nation.
In my career, I have had the privilege of serving over 4,000 women living with fistula. I must say this is not the easiest road to travel, but with it comes the fulfillment of putting a smile on the faces of women.
My illness started in 1973. I was taken to hospital for delivery. I had a prolonged and difficult labor. The doctors had to use metals to pull out the baby. The metals teared my urinary bladder. Following this ordeal, I was in a coma for 1 week. Even doctors had given up on my survival. Luckily, I started talking by the second week, and doctors were very happy. Just imagine, my own mother-in-law despised me. She could say, this stinking thing should have died and buried at the hospital. In her mind, I was an animal, not a human being. But my parents were very understanding. They wanted to take me back home, but my husband refused, only for him to marry another wife when I was at the hospital for repeat surgery. When I got home from hospital, I got a rude shock. Having a younger wife and a new baby, my husband neglected me completely. This affected me a lot. After 40 years of loneliness and shame, I was lucky to have a successful surgery in 2013. Although I'm a bit weak, I'm happy that I look normal. Although I'm healed, putting food in the table remains a big challenge. I wish someday I can get a seed grant to help me start a small business, like selling onions in the market. This will greatly improve the quality of my life. I developed the fistula in 2016. At the time, I encountered so many problems that I can't find the right words to express it all. I lost my baby and developed fistula at the same time. I did not understand the depth of what had happened to me and went through a lot of turmoil. When my in-laws realized I had a stillbirth and fistula, they left me in hospital without a second thought. I suffered a lot. Everyone close to me abandoned me in hospital. There was no help from anyone. For a whole month, I was confused, traumatized, and heartbroken. My mother-in-law said she cannot take care of someone who has no baby. She then proceeded to relocate my husband to another region, far from where we lived, so that I could not reach him. Suddenly, I was homeless. I felt I should die instead of going through this kind of trauma. Just before I could harm myself, I received a lot of psychological support from this group of researchers. Also, they prepared me for surgery and cared for me during the post-operative. I had a successful surgery, and I thank God for my healing.
Women who suffer from this condition often find themselves in a tight spot. The signs and symptoms can be unsightly.
As medical personnel, we face a lot of challenges ranging from infrastructure, skills, psychosocial issues. We try address them in the best way that we can. As healthcare workers who also handle mothers who suffer from fistula and stillbirth, we also have the challenge of health education. The community is not well enlightened on what to do when it comes to child and maternal health care. And I think this is as a result of lack of education. They have not been taught on what to do, which is something we should practice as a community and as healthcare practitioners. With regards to these challenges that we are faced with as healthcare providers, there are things that can be worked on, most of them can actually be made possible. If all the stakeholders, authorities involved would come together, issues may be avoided, like the maternal and child deaths that we experience on a daily basis. This affects us mentally, psychologically, and even emotionally.
The constraints in our society today have made it difficult for women living with fistula to access information on proper medical care, and even when they do, they are still limited by the inefficiencies of our health system. The challenges that they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis are beyond their control. Often, the issues that follow them can be categorized along the lines of the real fistula itself and the societal perception related issues such as stigma and isolation. The major challenge is unavailability of quality health services. This problem is deeply rooted in the continent, yet it's almost non-existent in other parts of the world. It points to just how far we are from accepting that basic health is a basic right for every human being, including the women. The kind of tribulations these women go through are unwarranted. It is slow torture that leads many women to depression and suicidal tendencies. Many of these women just stop living. This is the tragedy of life.
I'm good. It has been 8 months since I undergot the surgery. I'm now okay.
I'm so sorry. So you're good now?
Yes.
Actually, it was my mistake to have chased you away. You know, my friends. I had bad influence from my friends, my parents, and my sisters and brothers. I've realized it was my mistake, and I'm so sorry. So, welcome back.
Thank you.
I love you so much. Welcome back. I'm so sorry for what happened. Now, the life I lived when I chased my wife away because of fistula was so traumatizing. Not only for me, but also for our children. Now, when I chased her away, I was left with a lot of work in the house. Imagine preparing the children, cooking for them, washing for them. It was so heavy for me as a man in the house. Now, when she went away, she went to hospital. She was treated because fistula is a condition like another. It is treatable. She was treated and she got well. And here she is. She's doing fine. We're now moving forward as a family and we're living happily because we accepted the situation. She's now back. She's normal. It's only because I got advice from many quarters. Some of the advice was not good. I was rejected by my parents, my friends, my colleagues were laughing at me, and that is why I had to chase her away. But now she's okay. We are back on our feet. We are doing well. We are happy. And everything is good. Yeah.
Sound policies backed by awareness and improved healthcare are some of the solutions proposed for ending this condition. African governments can achieve this with sound policies that are backed by proper and focused implementation.
Finally, I would like to tell mother-in-laws the following. Please do not abandon daughters-in-laws when they experience stillbirth and fistula. Do not separate husbands and wives in times of adversity. That is because the loss of a baby and having to deal with fistula is the most traumatizing event in a woman's life.
As a people, most affected by this problem, we must work harder towards a fistula-free generation by improving access to quality emergency obstetric care as a first step in the fistula prevention, and also effective management of obstetric emergencies. And thirdly, immediate care of the obstetric fistula or women who develop obstetric fistula and its treatment. And this is indeed achievable as a country and as a people.